All right. My name is Doug Williams. I'm CTO at iSpecimen, and I'm here to talk about the iSpecimen marketplace and how FHIR is helping us make it happen. So the team at iSpecimen is mission-driven. We're half of us come from tech backgrounds. Jill, the COO, and myself, and the other half, the founder, Chris, came out of the Brigham at Harvard. That's where the genesis of the idea that has now become iSpecimen came from. Dave Wages, our chief medical officer. So it's a combination of the medical world and the tech world. Ultimately, our vision is to accelerate bioresearch via an Amazon-like marketplace platform tied to healthcare providers. So it's labs, healthcare providers themselves, biorepositories, to make that, enhance that matchmaking. This is the part of the market that we address. That would be the left-hand side of the screen, the really pre-analytic. Earlier, Hugh had talked about what they're doing for clinical trials, which is really the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. We address the front end of the bioresearch. This is where precision medicine is happening. This is a very messy portion of the bioresearch. This is another, we both took slides from Wayne as he talks about how FHIR can accelerate bioresearch. But the front end is where they're looking for specimens to try to find biomarkers. So there's a desperate need. People are still trying to figure out Lyme disease, and then and it goes from there. So our solution is a FHIR-enabled marketplace. So our doc stores are FHIR. We've got partners that can get us the data directly via FHIR. Where we're getting HL7 or more traditional feeds, we're converting it to FHIR. So we're really skating to where the puck is going. And what this allows for in the marketplace is access to a growing network of specimens and data. I'll show you that on a map in the next slide. The ability for bioresearchers to search for their specimens. So if I'm doing breast cancer and looking for certain stages, certain histologies, you can find them in our marketplace. Both specimens that are in a biobank, as well as prospective collections based on the flow of patients we're seeing through our hospital systems. And then one of the things this helps with is if I'm Novartis, right now I'm contracting with hundreds and hundreds of individual hospitals. So Cedars-Sinai is one of the, in LA is one of the people we're talking with, their biorepository operation. Every biopharma has to do individual agreements with Cedars-Sinai and vice versa. So we're stepping in with technology in between, and FHIR's a big part of that. So this is what we're looking to join. You've got bioresearchers. Our main focus is industry, but we do have government and academic customers. And then joining them with the patients and the medical data and the biospecimens that they're ultimately looking for, particularly for the pre-analytic portion of the research. So we're doing things. This is where FHIR comes in. If we get from 12 different healthcare providers, get samples, we're harmonizing the lab feeds, so the ORU feeds. If we're getting CCDAs, we're harmonizing those using terminology engines. Basically, it comes into us from multiple suppliers and it goes back out to the biopharma as de-identified data harmonized for their research. So the addressing this problem with the research of having to worry about procuring specimens when they really want to conduct their research. It's a necessary evil. And then the supply side, the healthcare systems, this is actually pertinent to Cedars-Sinai. They've got a great mechanism for collecting specimens, storing them in freezers, great protocols, but now they're just accumulating in the freezers. So they were built for internal researchers. They were built with NIH grants, but they're not sales and marketing organizations. They don't have tech for the purpose of getting them out to the bioresearchers, and that's where we can come in. That's our focus, and they can focus on the care, and the researchers can focus on the research. So this is the problem we're addressing. Obviously, the FHIR plays a big role in making the data more accessible, and the nice thing for us is the early adopters of FHIR are also the early adopters of more leading-edge solutions, so there's a very good correlation with the early adopters and working with us. And then this is the current system that we've built. We're beginning to expand globally in the UK, Eastern Europe, Greater Europe, and India. But today we span PAML in the Spokane, now part of LabCorp, Fox Chase in Philadelphia, and actually the largest, I don't think we're allowed to put their logo, the largest healthcare system is part of our network because we can generate revenue for them and help them accelerate research. And Oxner, obviously here in New Orleans. So to each one of these, if they're FHIR enabling, we can actually accelerate those because doesn't have to be part of their central system. So the minute they have a gateway, we can accept that data because as we look at specimens, we're identifying them. We get them to the researchers, they identify it again. We don't have to participate in the care part, so we can be very aggressive about participating in FHIR pilots. So if any of you have a FHIR pilot and you want to generate revenue by identifying patients and specimens, please see me. If you're a vendor trying to do this, if you can get us the data, then we can do a revenue share. So it's a nice thing in terms of we can, as we're building this network, we can accelerate it because we're not looking for software revenues, we're looking for getting the specimens to the researchers. So this is our solution. The marketplace now, our platform accepts the data directly. Our platform makes it accessible to the researchers. We adopted for our interface, we adopted consumer standards. So we looked at a number of different interfaces. We actually adopted more of a kayak style. We had looked at other ones, but researchers tend to be either more tissue-oriented or biofluid. We're doing a lot of work with liquid biopsies where they want tissue and biofluids together. So they select which area they want to is most interesting. Tissue, biofluids, viable cells, or prospective collections. I'm looking for patients with these attributes. And this is equivalent to flights, hotels, rental cars, for the same reasons. So kayak happens to be in our area, and we're building similar, making sure it's as customer friendly to the bioresearcher as it is to all of us for flights. So they select it, and then they get the results. So in this case, this was a search for breast malignant tumor, for fixed paraffin blocks. You can set the stages you're looking for, histologies, specimen characteristics, and this is all de-identified data. So this comes from Mayo, Fox Chase. Most of these come from cancer biorepositories. And then again, we're normalizing the data. So this may be from, in fact it is, from multiple different suppliers. And we can consolidate the specimens and get them to the researchers. again, using consumer principles, consumer website design for a very scientific product. And then finally, this is the platform. So the top is the applications. The leftmost is the marketplace that the researchers use. Researchers, when they specify inclusion, exclusion, Wayne knows this from CDISC, we're going to structure those requirements as much as we can, but we also have tools for feasibility. If someone's looking for a particular, an obvious one like smoking history, we can know whether a supplier can provide that. If it's a new one, we have ability to reach out and coordinate the assessment, and then ultimately the order management and fulfillment. And then that sits on a Amazon Web Services platform. It's HIPAA compliant. To date, we've managed to de-identify the data prior to getting to the data center, but we do go through the annual audit, and Amazon gives great tools for virtual private cloud, so we're able to build it right from the beginning, unlike my other startups. And we're using Elasticsearch at the data layer. That's where I think we're up to 200 million results, and then we pull it into Postgres as we find results that are interesting. And then we have an engine that converts it to JSON. The majority of what we're getting is HL7 feeds or XML. We'll convert that to the JSON, pipe it in to S3 as a FHIR doc store. So as we're talking to people like Datica, Redox, Medfusion that are giving us FHIR via the patient portals, we can bring it right in and use that data for identifying patients and specimens. And then we tap into lab systems, EMRs, clinical trial systems, and then pull from databases and files. But the FHIR efforts, we're really seeing it, and again, it's nice for us in that if we don't harmonize the data correctly, we're not hurting someone's care. We're simply misidentifying a specimen that will show up at the researcher. So we can move very, very aggressively, much more like what the non-healthcare websites can do. So if any of you have a project, if you would like to help your ROI with helping research, then please talk to us. And thank you, other people, thank you for all the efforts in pulling the FHIR standards together. Thank you.